Christmas card for the dead girl. I knocked on my little brother's bedroom door, curious about what he was doing in there. I could hear him humming and talking to himself all morning. "Liam?" I called. "Can I come in?" "Yeah, sure," came his cheerful reply. I pushed open the door and walked in. Since breakfast, he'd been holed up in here, and now I could see why. His room was a mess. Every art supply he owned seemed to be scattered across the floor. Liam sat cross-legged in the center, focused on a Christmas-themed coloring book. "What are you up to?" I asked, eyeing the chaos. "Making Christmas cards." Liam grinned, showing off the gap between his front teeth. He pointed with a red crayon at a pile of folded construction paper. "Look, I made one for Mom, Aunt Linda, and Grandpa. And I made one for you too, but you can't see it yet." He quickly hid a card under his giant stuffed whale. "Ah, you made me a card?" I said, sitting down on the floor with him. I pushed aside a pile of crayons. "Yep, but it's a surprise. You can't have it until Christmas," he said with a giggle. I patted his head affectionately. "You're the best, Liam." I leaned over to peek at his coloring book. He was filling in a picture of Santa Claus sharing milk and cookies with Mrs. Claus. "Who's that one for?" "It's for Santa. I'm going to mail it with my Christmas list. I thought he might like a present too, since no one ever gives him one." "That's so thoughtful," I said, genuinely touched. "You're such a sweet kid." Liam beamed. "Want to help me make some more cards? You can use my special markers, but you have to promise not to ruin them." "Deal," I said, laughing. I had nothing better to do, and I knew Mom would love a handmade card. For the next couple of hours, we sat together, cutting, coloring, and gluing. It felt good, almost nostalgic. I'd forgotten how much fun it could be to make something with your hands. I even made a snowman card for Grandpa. He'd love it, especially since we used to build snowmen together before he moved to Florida. I admired my handiwork as I set my card aside to dry. "Who's that one for?" I asked Liam, noticing the card he was working on. "It's for my friend," he said, sounding serious. "Do you think it looks okay?" I nodded. "It looks great. Which friend is it for?" "Eliza, the dead girl." I blinked. "What? Who's Eliza?" "The dead girl," Liam repeated matter-of-factly. "She lives in the basement, behind the dryer. That's where she died." I stared at him. Was this his new imaginary friend? It seemed unusually creepy, even for Liam. "The dead girl?" I repeated slowly, trying to make sense of it. "Yeah, she's my friend now. She gets lonely down there all by herself, so I've been keeping her company." A chill ran down my spine. I realized he had been spending a lot of time in the basement lately, but I hadn't thought much of it. "You've been talking to her?" "Yeah," he said casually. He stood up, brushing paper scraps off his pants. "Want to meet her?" I hesitated. The basement always gave me the creeps, even without the thought of a ghost girl lurking down there. But curiosity got the better of me. "Okay," I said, standing up. "Lead the way." I followed Liam out of his room, down the hall, through the kitchen, and down the narrow basement stairs. The single light bulb cast long, eerie shadows across the room. I turned on the flashlight app on my phone, but it only made the dark corners seem more sinister. I shivered, clutching my phone tightly. basement felt colder than usual, and I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. "Liam," I whispered, "let's go back upstairs. We can watch a Christmas movie." "But we have to give Eliza her card," he insisted, clutching the card to his chest. He walked over to the dryer, his little footsteps echoing in the silence. He tapped on it 3 times, like he was knocking on a door. "Maybe you shouldn't do that." I started, but my voice trailed off as the dryer shook and rattled against the wall, even though it wasn't running. I jumped back, clamping my hand over my mouth. "Eliza, it's me," Liam said brightly. "I brought my sister to meet you, and I made you a Christmas card." He gently placed the card on the floor in front of the dryer. Then he stepped back, grabbing my hand. I squeezed it hard, feeling my heart race. "Liam, this isn't funny," I whispered. "Shh," he said, "she's coming." Before I could protest, a small, blood-stained hand crept out from the gap beneath the dryer. It was pale and gray, the fingernails chipped and broken. It reached out and took the card, slowly dragging it back under the machine. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't even scream. "Thank you, friend," a soft, raspy voice whispered from somewhere behind us. Liam beamed up at me. "Say Merry Christmas to her," he urged. I swallowed hard, my voice barely a whisper. "Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, friend," the voice rasped again. The hand emerged once more, waving slowly before retreating back into the darkness. "I can't wait to play with you soon," it whispered. I bolted. I dragged Liam up the stairs, my heart pounding louder than my footsteps. I slammed the basement door shut, my breath coming in ragged gasps. "What was that, Liam?" I shouted, still shaking. Liam just smiled serenely, holding on to my hand. "That was Eliza. Don't worry, Peyton. She's just excited to make a new friend." If you enjoyed this story, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next ones. With love, Lady Terror.